I got into filmmaking in general when I was in high school, and before that I wanted to be a doctor. But around my freshman year in high school, I started really getting into like writing, photography, music, and film was just the kind of natural way to combine all of these different interests. And I also was very fortunate in that I had a couple family members who were in film. They were both cinematographers, and so they had had really kind of long and successful careers in film, and growing up in Oregon in this very kind of rural area, a career in film didn't seem very realistic and seemed like kind of more of an abstraction or a hobby or something. But then having those people in my life, I could see that, wow, this could actually happen. And they were very, very encouraging of me to kind of pursue this interest, and I think that was really essential and kind of mentored me a little bit. So, and then in terms of documentary, I went into undergraduate majoring in film and really thought I was going to go into narrative filmmaking. And then while I was an undergraduate, I got into still photography and specifically photojournalism with the student newspaper. And I just really, really loved photojournalism. I loved meeting different people around campus, learning about what they're doing, especially in a university environment. There's so many really fascinating things that are going on that you would never otherwise know about unless you're kind of in this role. And so I just loved doing that. And I was really thinking, wow, maybe I should go into photojournalism, still photography, which I'm now in hindsight, I'm glad I didn't do it, because all the photojournalists I know, who are really good ones, are now trying to come into documentary because the newspaper world is changing so much. So I really got into photojournalism, and at the same time was pursuing kind of like studies in narrative filmmaking. And then my senior year in college, in our advanced film and video production class, our assignment was to, instead of making a narrative film, which had been the case for every year prior, our new assignment was to make a short documentary. And so a friend of mine in the class, who's actually also from Oregon, had been following this story and this person in Illinois, in Peoria, Illinois. And the guy's name was Matthew Hale, and he was essentially this kind of white supremacist in Illinois. He, in fact, was the leader of a group called the World Church of the Creator. He was the Pontificus Maximus. And he was trying to create a sort of neo-Nazi movement within Peoria, move all of these people there so that they could then vote themselves into office, basically. So he had been kind of researching this person. He said, what if we made a short documentary about him, and not make it kind of really fantastical or anything, just kind of like a straight, short, like 12-minute profile piece about this person. So we drove out to Peoria and filmed with this guy, and I think it was in that process that I really saw that I could meld these two interests of narrative filmmaking and photojournalism into a career in documentary. And I remember actually when we left for the shoot, I had this little like Saab 900 hatchback. And this whole time in film school, I've been working on narrative productions, which even in film school, it can get pretty big. You have a lot of people involved. There's a lot of gear. And it takes a lot of resources in order to make a film, even as an undergraduate. And here, my friend and I were packing up the back of our car, and we're going to drive out together to make this film. Like, wow, doing documentaries, you could make a film out of the back of your car. And there was kind of like this moment of realization there. And on top of that, there are all of these exciting things, I think, about documentary, the form itself, and also exciting things when you are kind of looking to make your first film, that in the sense that you don't have to worry about actors because every performance is perfect because you're dealing with real people, all these sort of things. So that's kind of what initially sparked the idea of documentary. And then it was about a year after graduation that I started actually making my first feature documentary, which was about my hometown.